Here we are, guys, on a game that I feel at many points I have sworn that I would never play again. This is Formula 1 2014. The introduction of the Austrian Grand Prix, the last game came out on the old generation of consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, of course. The cars, big regulation changes this year, of course. Like, there was just a lot about this year of Formula 1, which I feel like had a bit of a downward spiral a little bit, mainly from real life. Like, there was the cars look kind of ugly with like the penis noses, the switch to V6, V8 sounded awesome, less downforce, and the handling model on this game as well was absolutely atrocious. But yeah, this is F1 2014. Are we playing on the pad today? I just can't be bothered to get the wheels set up. This is a pad game anyway. Getting the excuses out of the way. But yeah, here we are for F1 2014. Probably my least favorite game of the series. And I don't know, if you're a Codemasters employee, or if you don't want to see me complaining a lot, this probably isn't a video for you. But we're going to take a trip down memory lane and see if things are really as bad as what I remember them. But straight away, I don't like the menus. I don't like the car that's on screen. Big fat nose. And the front wing looks like it's sitting about half a meter off the ground, which is interesting. But regardless, we're going to sign in. We've got some old Grand Prix and career mode sessions still active. I don't know how my computer remembers, because when I was last playing this game, it was like 2 computers ago. But anyway, we're going to have a go. Let's have a look at what we've got here. We've got evaluation test, season challenge, career mode. Hell, I might even jump into the last career mode that I was in. I've won the world championship. Sorted, lads. F1 2014. We're done. Sayonara. Never coming back. Alright, let's have a look at what we got. So we can choose from a various amount of teams here. I'm trying to remember. Was this my original Season 2? Or Season 3 career mode team? McLaren? We can go to Mercedes. We've got McLaren. You know what? I'm going to go to Mercedes and we'll see just how OP they are. It's actually rare that we're doing an actual career mode within a throwback video, so let's do it. We haven't got too much else to do in F1 2014. From what I remember, it was a very bare bones game. I believe they took away classic cars. So it didn't really leave us with much. There was still scenario mode, but apart from that, not too much. The online was a bit terrible from what I remember, although I didn't really do too much of it. But anyway, this is the career mode hub. A lot of things, it's pretty similar to F1 2013. It's just they moved it from the wind tunnel area where it was to randomly just sitting at turn 2 at Bahrain. And it's not even at night. It doesn't look that great, but that's just how it is, I guess. Let's check the old difficulty settings. Everything off. Full, realistic, legend. There you go. You guys know I was legit back then, and still am. But anyway, we've got Nico Rosberg as our teammate. We're going to jump right into what would be an OP Mercedes career mode. A lot of people would want to see this, so we'll do it here on this game. One thing I did like is actually the real life photos that they incorporated into the loading menus. But yeah, some press clippings. They're actually talking about me. In the first clipping it said how I won the championship, and can I win again in the Mercedes? We'll see. What the hell? Short qualifying? What kind of career mode was this? We're in the number 44 car. That is unbelievable. What is that camera angle as well? But here we are in F1 2014. Oh, that's a lot of understeer right off the bat. This game is a very interesting one. It was one where you basically had to drift the car around the corner in order to get any kind of pace out of the cars, like short shifting down to first and then straight back up into second was the aim of the game. My initial impression straight away is this handling model is very understeery. But yeah, from 2013 to 2014, they took a big chunk of downforce away. I'm not sure about the exact figures. It might have been about 30% or something. But yeah, I remember absolutely despising this handling model. One of the big things that annoyed me was that you're always constantly on the rev limiter. And that was because the shift lights on this game would always pop up about 3,000 revs too early, or below how high it could actually go. And I think that might have been just the way it was back then, because it was the first year of the V6s. Everyone was probably trying to be a little bit cautious, and so you couldn't really rev them out too much in order to get them through to the end of the season. But regardless, it was an interesting time nonetheless. I've just been chatting away here. This isn't practice. This is my one-shot qualifying lap. We're in a Mercedes. We should be dominating, but we're going to come across the line in last. Well, not even last. Got disqualified. But we were a good 10 seconds away, I think, there. Let's have a look at the grid. We got Nico Rosberg on pole. No surprise there. Sebastian Vettel still at Red Bull, which is interesting. Alonso, Ferrari. Ricciardo has just gone to Red Bull. Very interesting times here. Kevin Magnussen still at McLaren. Jenson Button still in the sport. So too with Jean-Eric Verne. I mean, Verne was so unlucky not to make it to Red Bull. It was like a flip of the coin kind of decision for them back then. And Jules Bianchi and Max Chilton. Wow. Your teammates on pole and you're last. That is a fantastic performance for 2014 Mercedes. Alright, getting into the car for the Australian Grand Prix. I mean, to be honest, the expectations aren't too high. If you remember back to this actual season, Lewis Hamilton DNF'd from this race in 2014. I think he had an engine problem. So, yeah, I don't have too much of a high marker in order to beat Lewis's first performance. But I remember watching this first race and just seeing how dominant Mercedes were at the start of the season. I had never seen dominance of this scale. Like, the Mercedes were on pole by nearly a second to the nearest car. And, like, in the race, Lewis and Nico were pulling away. They had a 20-second lead after, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 laps. And it was really depressing. I was like, oh my goodness, we are set for a long season. Thankfully, Formula One isn't as bad as what it was in this year. But, yeah, it was a scary time nonetheless. I mean, there were probably like non-Michael Schumacher fans from the early 2000s who probably feel the exact same way. Although I don't know how dominant Michael was back then, so you'll have to let me know on that one. But here we are for F1 2014. If you want to see more classic Formula One games, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. But we are set to go. Thanks, Jeff. Let's get ready to start this race. 5 red lights. And away we go. The Australian Grand Prix. Let's see if we have any pace in the race. 3-lap race. That is... What kind of career mode was I running 5 years ago? It sounds like it was a bit of a joke by the looks of it. But regardless, we found a couple of positions. See if we can get Bianchi and Kobayashi on the run into turn 1. Turn 3. I should know my corner names around here. This was basically in my backyard. But anyway, the AI are absolutely dreadful on the first lap. I watched a XMATG review video. Let's have a look at it. Let's look at this logically. Although we are outside of the yellow and white line on the left there, I kind of see this big sausage curb as the track limit because I see cars riding this all the time. Maybe not in real life, but in the game. Okay, there we go. We did the exact same thing except kept it on the circuit. Are you happy now, stewards? But anyway, back to my point. I remember... Well, no. I was watching an XMATG video just to familiarize myself with this game again. He made the funniest comparison. I'll see if I can bring it up at some point. But he said this.
When the car slides out, it genuinely... Sorry, I was... Oh my gosh, I've got a bad cold. But yeah, it genuinely sounds like chickens. I have to say, when the car does slide out, it sounds like chickens. You have a... When you listen, or maybe watch some F1 2014 gameplay in the dry, or in fact, just try it yourself when you get the game. It does sound like chickens, unless they obviously patch it, which would be great, because I really do get slightly annoyed that chickens are coming out of an F1 game.
And so now, my goal for this race is to get a bit of a slide on and see if I can get the chickens to come out. We got Sergio in our slipstream. Doesn't look like slipstream is overly powerful on this game, which is interesting. But we're losing touch with the top 10. It's quite disappointing. I do want to get a point in this Mercedes. You probably want to hear the engine sounds. I don't know why you would, but just to refamiliarize yourself, here you go. It's not horrible, but it's not particularly great either. I just remember it being a lot worse than what it was because we had the V8s and then we switched to the V6s. Now, of course, we've had 5 years of experience to get used to these bloody things, and it's not too bad for what we're used to. Not as bad as what I remember. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. That is very harsh. Disqualified in a Mercedes. For that. Like, hang on, let me check the race director. Because I don't think I have any... Do I have a penalty? It doesn't say. Oh. Yeah, no penalties. Absolutely no penalties. I got like 1 or 2 warnings, but straight up disqualification. Unbelievable.
That's the end of the race for us. Park safely, engine to off.
I may as well have had a DNF. I can't wait to see the press clippings about me. Mercedes gets their first win. Sometimes the result for the first race of the season is an indication of things to come for a team. With Mercedes getting its first win, many will be wondering if they can keep this up for the final next race in Malaysia. Mercedes were keeping tight-lipped on their car's early season pace. Any word about their absolutely woeful driver in the second car? Maybe that's where the car belongs, and Nico is just putting in a superhuman effort to overcome the rest of the grid. You never know. But that is... oh, should we do Malaysia? Yeah, we'll do Malaysia, because we don't have the chance to do so these days. Rain at Malaysia. I'm not looking forward to this. Already the AI, like, losing the back end on the exit, that's not a good sign. Straight up and rich. Let's have a flying lap of the Malaysian Grand Prix. I was never great at this place to begin with, but we're going to see if we can turn the tides in a Mercedes AMG F1 Petronas car attacking the first set of chicanes. Hopefully I don't get disqualified on this lap. There's no ERS for me to manually utilize. Hello, teammate. But Codemasters said that it was in the game. It was in their handling system. It was just deployed automatically. And back then, the ERS deployed for about 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure from experience now that ERS can be deployed for a lot longer than 30 seconds per lap now. It's more like it probably only needs about 30 seconds, maybe even less of recovery time. But apart from that, it's fine. It shows how much like performance they're eking out of these power units. I've got traction control on. I need to check. Off. Okay. That's really weird because I feel like I've got traction on. I'm flooring the car in the wet with a controller. No real experience. Look at this, stamping on the throttle, but nothing's really happening. And that was probably one of the biggest drives I had as well back in the day. Like, I felt like the car just felt very yucky at low speed. Like, you couldn't really flow the cars all too well. It was just, I don't know, it was really weird. And even now, I don't particularly like it. But anyway, we're going to come across the line. Are we going to get anywhere apart from last? Yes, we do.
Today, we're only 18th on the grid. Let's do better tomorrow.
Only 18. That is a marvelous effort against some pretty tough opponents. 148.4. We had about 8-9 tenths of safety margin to last place. But a long way behind our teammate, it seems. What do you want me to say? Maybe by Brazil, I'll be able to match my teammate. But until then, go easy on me, Chief. Parc Fermé is on, obviously. But I have absolutely no idea what I would change. I was so out of the loop for this game with setups. Never really competed online, which really hurt me. But anyway, we're going to set off for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Can we actually change the difficulty? That would be nice. It seems like this is the first game where the difficulty is actually pretty decent. No pre-race pep talk from the engineer. He's already given up on life, but away we go for the Malaysian Grand Prix. It is good to be back here, racing in the Southern Hemisphere, racing side by side with the Caterham. You love to see it. I remember Kobayashi's big crash at Turn 1 in Australia. That was kind of iconic. But that Ferrari up there is floating. Have I got... I'm sorry. You're joking. I can't even... There's no graphics options in the pause menu. That is a joke. For PC... That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. I hope that it's not on ultra graphics, but the shadows of the cars and everything looks quite bad. If that is genuinely ultra graphics, I give up with life. But regardless, we're gonna push through. It seems like the AI are a lot slower in the race, and that was one of the criticisms that Matt, in his review, had about the AI in this game. Like, they were pretty decent in quality, but in the race they were a bit atrocious. AI do kind of follow that trend, even to today's standard, but obviously not this extreme. The AI have come on so much in the last few years. And you know, one thing I've got to say about Codemasters is they do genuinely, hand on heart, make the best AI out of any racing game that there is. They're also class leaders on weather, you know, dynamic weather. They even had bloody localized weather for F1 2012, like each individual corner could have different levels of wetness. Obviously, it's not that extreme usually in real life, but it is there. But it was nice to see that they actually had that level of detail. But yeah, there are some things in the F1 games which we certainly do take for granted. You can see Bottas in a Williams having a go at us. Massa and Bottas fighting away. I think this might have been the race as well where Felipe got told that Valtteri is faster than you. We won't touch on that any further. Very touchy subject for old Felipe. Oh no, that's a big missed apex there. Here comes Felipe up the inside. No, he backs out of it. This is the era of Formula 1 games where the AI were very tentative, and I'm not just saying it about this game. There's F1 2012, 2013. 2015 was still there to a degree. Like, the AI, it was so annoying. Like, they would never, and I mean never, go for a pass up the inside. It was just nigh on impossible. It got to the point where you would kind of force yourself to go to the inside to block off so that they would actually go for a move around the outside. That's how bad it was. But I can't seem to shake old Felipe baby here. He is certainly keeping cool in this Malaysian Grand Prix. We are the ones under pressure. We're in P9, so we're on target to get a point or two here. But Felipe is doing his best efforts here to give his team a good position here. Very deep into turn 1. Oh, that was finally a little bit slidey. As long as I don't make a mistake, I should be fine. I'm going to see if I can do the old Mario Kart first gear. Nah, that didn't really work there. But the term Mario Karting came from this game as well. And it probably laid down the foundations, possibly, for what was to come in future games. Like, even to this day, a lot of people still go down into first gear, then short shift back up to second in order to get better rotation. There you go. That's a big boy mistake into the middle sector. Again, Felipe is not going to overtake. Come on, son. Just grow some nuts and have a go. You got your teammate right there as well. McLaren looking to have a go too. But this 2014 Williams is no slouch. He was getting regular podiums, so there should be no excuses as to why you can't get past me here, Felipe. We're heading into the last corner. And I tell you what, this is Dive Bomb Central here. Fernando Alonso has won this race. I don't know how he's done that. We're going to cover up Felipe. He's nowhere near us. Bottas is under attack from one of the McLarens. I think he's going to lose that spot. But there we go. It is P9 and a couple of points for Mercedes.
Great result, a solid point finish.
That's the enthusiasm I want to see, despite massively underperforming. But we qualified last. They set us a realistic team goal of what, P12. We smashed it. P9, 2 points. And that'll do me nicely in this Malaysian Grand Prix. I don't know how Fernando Alonso has won, but he is an absolute magician in a Ferrari, which was bang average in 2014. Fair play. What? There actually was research and development? That's actually, wow, okay, that surprised me. Because I don't really feel like the teams go up and down. If anything, I feel like everyone kind of goes up in a linear pattern. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's kind of what happens. We've got cautious, R&D strategy, balanced, and aggressive. The current strategy is unbalanced. Let's have a look at the main hub, because you can see here at the top all these different races. It showcases different things that are going on. So first race, I think exclamation mark means it's important. A thingy there, technical term, means that there was an upgrade of some kind that we were testing in practice. Same again for Malaysia, Spain. And then here we've got a gem, which means it's a very important race. So too with Silverstone, Germany, Hungary, we got more setup work, and then Belgium was a very important race as well. And then another 2 to round out the season. No exclamation mark or gem for Abu Dhabi, considering it was a double point weekend. Very important, but obviously not to the people who make the game. Yeah, that's career mode. There's no need to really dwell on that too much. We're gonna get the hell out of here because the career mode experience on this wasn't that great. And then in 2015, oof, you don't want to know. We'll find out once we get to that game next. But let's have a little look. Multiplayer, online. Is anybody online on this game? Wow, Codemasters, please sort that out. However, we do have Co-op Championship, which, if that was announced as a feature for F1 2020, people would be absolutely cheering Codemasters' praises. And so too is Split Screen. Wow, a couple of features which don't really take too much prominence in modern Formula 1 games, but hey, they were here on the worst Formula 1 game to ever exist. Let's have a little go at scenario mode. And let's see if we can beat this cloud. Oh, not Malaysia.
Finish in the top 10 after pitting for a new front wing. Finish ahead. Capitalise on an engine failure to take first place.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Let's keep the Tifosi happy.
We're drawing a close to today's race with Vettel holding on to a strong lead. It's going to take disaster for the Germans' first place to be contested now.
Overtake the pack and win the race. Just casually. Been doing this whole 50% rail, 100% race for the last... Can I just stop you there, Jeff? This is 2014. This is Monza, the most power track of all power tracks, and you're telling me Red Bull in a Renault-powered car is leading the Italian Grand Prix. Where the hell is Mercedes in this race? Who the bloody hell knows? Because, yeah, I mean, Hamilton's leading now, but Vettel was in front, which is interesting. Anyway, let's see. That is a big username right in front of us for Magnussen. Let's see if we can get this guy. Utilize the slipstream to good effect if we can. And we're going to fly right past. That reminds me I needed to do an ASOS shop for Christmas. But yeah, I really enjoy the whole scenario mode side races that they had in these older F1 games. Didn't really appreciate them back in the day, but it certainly gives me something to do now for content. We're definitely going to go back to F1 2012 and we're going to do Champions Mode. That's something that really appeals to me. But who knows, further down the line, maybe next year we could come back and do all these. So we fly up the inside of Jensen Button. These guys certainly aren't on the most toughest difficulty. Oh, there's the chickens, I think. I think we just heard the chickens as we cut the chicken. Actually flying over those. It's disgusting that I'm not getting disqualified. Oh. You don't need to remind me twice. Last lap of the Grand Prix, we're going to fly past Rosberg. This is going to be really close as to whether we can get Hamilton or not to pass the objective. Oh god, the amount of like nothingness that was happening on the exit of the first chicane was disgusting. But now we're going to have the slipstream. No DRS. Hamilton going defensive. We're going to force it to the inside regardless. And we are through now as the chickens scream here at the Italian Grand Prix. The Tifosi, or the Ferrari, the Scuderia is in front. Those were certainly Italian chickens that screamed as we went into the lead. But there we go. We're giving Ferrari something to cheer about. Did Ferrari even win a race this season? That's going to be your trivia for today's video. And if they did, tell me which race it was, what driver it was. It could be a trick question. Ferrari might not have even... I'm pretty sure they didn't win. But if they did, feel free to let me know. Final corner now in this game. And we're going to come through for an emphatic victory here at the Italian Grand Prix. The Tifosi is back on top. No need to fire Fernando. He's happy where he is. Oh, it's Raikkonen. Well, that's awkward.
An engine failure meant the win slipped from Sebastian Vettel today. The pack following was bunched up and it was quite the fight, but it was the Ferrari driver we saw take the checkered flag.
Boom. Mission accomplished. And with that, I will sign off for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, and if you're new to my channel for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We recently hit 400,000 subscribers. At the time of me recording this, we hit that yesterday, so thank you so much for that. I'm not too sure if I'll do a 400k special video or not, but if I do, keep an eye out for that. I'll have to think of something cool to do. But in the meantime, let me know what you want to see next. Is it F1 2012 Champions Mode, or are you more excited for me to try, say, F1 Race Stars, or would you rather me go on to the next game and try out F1 2015, which had absolutely nothing. This was a bare bones game, F1 2014, apart from career mode, time trial, Grand Prix mode, and scenario mode. That was it. There was not much to online. Yes, it had co-op championship and split screen, but really the majority of people didn't use that, so it was underappreciated, I would say. But it just makes me more and more grateful for what we do have today in, F1 2018 and obviously F1 2019, which has got so much online support. It leaves me very excited for what is to come in the future. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you next time. I do actually miss the Parc Ferme celebrations after a race. I feel like they should mix those in you know, not every time, but like do one race, I don't know, randomize at different celebration locations just to keep it fresh for future F1 games.